Hi, take a look at the following function. Let's go through what it does. It creates a client to DB object. Then it connects that to DB. It then queries the DB for all categories. Then it emails those categories to an employee. And finally, it exports it to PDF. Now, can you tell what's a bit awkward here? This function is composed of three parts: getting the categories, emailing them, and exporting them to PDF. The first part is described in technical details. The other two parts are described with just the title of the tasks they perform, which are also the names of the functions responsible for carrying out these tasks. We call that inconsistent levels of abstraction. The last two parts are very abstract. They are very high level. The first one is the opposite. It's very detailed. So, if we wanted to maintain a consistent level of abstraction, we could have done one of two things. Either write in this function all the code of email to employee function and all the code of export to PDF function, which will make this function a very low abstraction level function, and also a very long function. Or, and that makes more sense, take all the code that has to do with getting the categories from the DB and put it in a new function, which we'll call getCategories. Assign its result to a variable and use that variable for the other two functions. Now, it has a consistent high level of abstraction. It gets the categories, emails them, and exports them to PDF, and does all of that without mentioning any technical level detail. It's all described in a high-level manner. Let's look at another example. This function's goal is to log some statistics about the data it receives. So, it filters the data. Then it calculates its sum. Then it calculates its minimum and maximum. Then it calculates the average. And finally, logs the data. The first part, which filters the data, is written at a high level of abstraction. The other parts are low levels of abstractions. So how do we refactor it to have a consistent level of abstraction? First, we'll take out those operations, finding the sum, min, max, and average, and logging, to new functions. The logic and syntax here are not important. What's important here is that we have a function for each operation. And now we'll use those functions in the main function, like so. Now this function is much more readable, understandable, and has a consistent level of abstraction. So the problem we saw in this lesson is inconsistent levels of abstraction within a function. And the solution was simply to refactor low levels of abstraction to new functions and use them in the original function. And that's all for this lesson. I'll see you in the next one.